New England Patriots at the New Orleans Saints, Sunday at 1, Patriots by 3.5. The other end of the emotional roller coaster here, it's the Patriots coming off of a huge win, the Saints coming off their first win, but New England in particular, not just a win, but in Buffalo.
Statement game.
Sunday night, your division rival, the team that's won every division title since you traded or let Tom Brady walk out the door, and New England gets that win. Now they have to go up against the 1-4 Saints. Is there any kind of letdown? This is the type of stuff that shows up in college football, I would say, a little bit more. Like you're taking the 18 to 22-year-old kids and trying to keep them even keel week in, week out, and it's a challenging one. But even at the NFL level, trap games and everything, those things are real. And for New England, it's different. It's like this is the first time they've had a winning record in a while, the first time there's maybe expectations. That's what they're probably dealing with right there as a 3-2 team.
Yeah, and I saw Stephon Diggs talking about this, and he was saying he says this is actually an even bigger challenge than it was a week ago. Not because the Saints are anything like the team that Buffalo is, but because the challenge is now maintaining that level against the team you should be beating, right? And I'm sure he'll take there will be people that ridicule that because Buffalo versus New Orleans. But I think, number one, it's an interesting point that he raises because it's exactly the one you just made. He's specifically guarding against that. Number two, because that kind of shows the value of a guy like Stephon Diggs, independent of what he can do on the football field, which was really good a week ago. But you have a veteran now in that building who is specifically going around being like, we need to focus, like snap into this. This is not a week where you can start, goofing off because we beat Buffalo. Like we need to double down and focus on that because otherwise we're going to lose this game. So I think that's the type of thing where you see the value in some of these veteran presences that might not be there if you don't bring in one of those guys.
Did you think you'd be saying that about Stephon Diggs 5 weeks into the season?
Well, for that type of stuff, look, Diggs has some issues, but they're not that he's always been good at, right? That type of leadership. I mean, there's a reason that Diggs is the player that he is. He also, you know what I mean? It's a slightly different. Like Randy Moss was never bad at that stuff. Randy Moss, for whatever the issues people had at Randy Moss and wanted to sort of run him out of buildings or whatever, everyone would always tell you this guy prepared harder than anybody else. He's one of the smartest receivers you'll ever find. Like those things, he was always excellent at. Like that's the value in those guys. Whether or not he's also going to be a distraction doing other things is, I think, a slightly different problem.
So I think it's a fun matchup. Saints coming off that win. They've been pretty competitive outside of that one game against Seattle. Spencer Rattler, quick passing game. I think that's been a good way to protect him a little bit with that offensive line that's had their ups and downs. Patriots pass rush has been pretty good. And then, look, the wild card for the Saints is Rashid Shaheed. You just never know
always
when he's going to go 3 catches for $150 and 2 long touchdowns. And legit, last week, I mean, they got a fumble return for a touchdown. That's a little fluky.
Right.
But Rashid Shaheed's not fluky. You can't do it every week necessarily.
They have weapons.
But he's a big play threat waiting to happen.
They have weapons. And even with, Alvin Kamara's banged up as well, but they've got depth as well. Like this is a team that if the offensive line holds up in a given game, they've got weaponry that can make things work, and Spencer Rattler is playing well enough to get the ball there.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action. What else are we looking for in this game? Drake May playing really good football. I thought, he started slow in the first half, but unleashed the big-time throws when he needed to, second layered throws, the scramble drill to Stephon Diggs. I think May's finding that balance. That was a question for him of when to take chances and take care of the ball versus, show off what you can do with your arm. I think he's really doing a nice job of finding the balance of the special plays that he's capable of making with his arm and his legs, when to do that, and when to throw the ball underneath, take the check down, take what's there. So I think May's playing really good football. I also want to keep an eye on the running backs for New England. We know Ramondre Stevenson fumbled again. Was he at 4 now this year? I mean, just for
3, I think.
Is it 3? I mean, when a guy fumbles more than once, it feels like 10, right?
Maybe that was his 4th, but I think
it's
it was
so
3.
uncommon. But if you're on pace for 12, like a 12 to 16 fumble season, this is why it's so impactful, right? This is why, like when we were doing PFF grades, it's like, man, this guy did great. He only fumbled once. It's like, yeah, but if you fumble once every game, it's the worst season of all time times 10. Like, it just doesn't happen. So if we keep watching Stevenson, if he fumbles again, what do they do? Travion Henderson, I think, has looked a little underwhelming right now, but I still think he's good and deserves a few more touches. So I'm just curious to see how they break that down. Stevenson's a good runner when he doesn't fumble, and Travion Henderson, I think, can be a good runner with some more opportunities and getting into a rhythm. It's
also such a long-standing problem now with Stevenson that it's a target. I mean, I forget, it might have been that game, the Bills Patriots game, where they were talking about it. Like, once there's blood in the water, once defenses sense that this is a thing that could happen, fumbles, they are going after that football. And in a league where they're already kind of going after it a lot with the peanut punch, and like, teams have never been more aggressive at going for the football in the course of tackling, and you have a guy in Ramondre Stevenson who is now like a giant target for that. So
he's running with he's two hands on the ball. Yeah. And again, that's interesting too, because he's generally he's pretty fast. He's got some burst and everything. Like, do you lose 2/10 off your 40 just because you're running the ball so you don't fumble? It's just.
But the Saints, they forced a fumble last week on Scadaboo. Brian Brzee, I think it was, who forced the fumble in that game. So between that and Ramondre Stevenson with a track record of fumbling coming into this game, maybe this is something they're going to focus on.
So fun matchup. Rashid Shaheed, always the X factor. If he goes off, Saints have a chance to pull the upset here. Where are you going with this one? New England by 3.5 Sunday at 1.
I am buying into the stellar leadership of Stephon Diggs. I believe he's going to have them buttoned up and ready to go, and they're going to crush the Saints.
Stephon Diggs, he started out with, wasn't he on the boat doing that? Like, everybody was wondering about his mental state.
Like I said, that's a different problem. You can question all you want about the boat.
Once the season starts. But
nobody's going to question what he's bringing in the meeting room.
All business. Just another example of if you have a quarterback in his second, third year getting the alpha number one receiver, that is just, I can rely on him. I can have a 10-catch game from this guy when I need it.
But it's also stuff like that. Like, you're not just getting. This is why I do think there's value to that. Not only are you getting a guy that you can just rely on, he's going to be there, he's going to make some plays for me, I can throw the ball his way. But you've also got, during a week where there are things like this, and Drake May hasn't really been in these situations before, do you want to rely on the young guys to be aware of that and to guard against that? Or do you want to have a veteran presence somewhere that can just take that off his shoulders and be like, I'm going to make sure everyone pays attention this week?
Stephon Diggs leading the charge here for the Patriots.
All-around good guy.
So the next time you suggest veteran receiver, expiring contract, getting old, and pairing him with the young quarterback, you point to Stephon Diggs like this, helping the development of your young QB. Mm-hmm. It's well worth it.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?